There's no such thing as gun violence, toe licking in elementary school, and Trump is winning. This is The Loaded Mic, and I'm Dan Was. All right, let me state the obvious. Let me say something you already know, but I think it needs to be said again. Let me state the truth that we've somehow forgotten to acknowledge. There's no such thing as gun violence. There's no such thing as gun violence, only human violence. So when we allow the anti-gun media to continually perpetuate the false narrative of gun violence, we are complicit in helping them fabricate a fake anti-gun narrative. There's no such thing as gun violence because guns cannot be violent. What we're really talking about is human violence, but the anti-gun crowd has been very creative in demonizing guns and gun owners. The term gun violence is the mother of all anti-gun terminology. And you know what? It doesn't even exist. There's no such thing as gun violence. See, it's easy to manipulate the thought process of people. With words, we can encourage each other to envision things that don't even exist. In this case, we can say the word gun and people have an internal representation of what that looks like. We can also say the word violence and people have an internal representation of what violence is as well. When we take those two words and merge them together, we're encouraging the fabrication of something that doesn't exist but can cause strong emotional reaction. But obviously, this helps the gun grabbers because if they can make people who don't know any better see guns acting violently in their own minds, they can get them to support gun control laws. It's all based on a fake term that elicits an irrational response based on fantasy imagery. If I asked you to envision the Empire State Building melting to the ground like a candle, you could see that in your mind. You can see it, even though it's never happened. Our brains are amazing at fabricating imagery by putting pieces of thoughts and images we've seen together, creating our own visual interpretations of things. It's our responsibility to push back on the gun violence narrative and remind people who use it that it's a lie, just like ghost gun and assault weapon and weapons of war. And, gun violence is a term created for the purpose of scaring people and manipulating them into taking action against gun ownership in America. Some people are very easy to manipulate, and the political left knows who they are and work very hard convincing them of things that aren't true through propaganda, rhetoric, fear, and anger. Gun violence is a political term used to undermine our Constitution and put power in the hands of people who should never have it. So we're going to talk about this and many other things with... He's the inquisitive gift that just keeps on giving. Johnchiara.
Yo, homies.
And he refuses to discuss his criminal record in public, anthonydeso.
I'm a criminal.
All right.
It's messed up.
He's not really a criminal.
He's a dangerous man.
So I wanted to bring up this topic today, guys, because I think it's obviously important in the gun world. Talk about gun violence, which made up assault weapon, ghost gun.
Well, what you're saying is what I've been harping on for the last week to people is that words pop up and they're not there just out of nowhere. These are focus group, expert created terms that are supposed to initiate an emotional response.
Right.
Very thoughtful monologue there, Dan, I must say, by the way. That was very
thank
good.
you.
But this week I had somebody using the term gun violence, and I was arguing as you were, is that the guns aren't doing the crime, you know what I mean? It's always a person doing the violence. So his big equation was no guns equal no gun violence. So someone's like using the term to define the concept itself. It's like completely inside of a bubble that exists on its own. Gun violence, no guns, no gun violence, right? Also, no people protecting themselves, no all the other stuff that would go along with it.
So no cars, no drunk drivers.
Exactly.
Well, this term gun violence really is, everybody uses it now like it's an actual thing. And when you think about it, what are they saying when they say gun violence. I mean, I know the anti-gunners will say, well, these is violent crimes committed with a gun. Okay, well, why don't you say that? Because if you were to say that, violent crime committed with a gun, okay, that's acceptable. We can understand what that is. But what you're saying is a violent crime committed with a gun.
So you're already criminals.
You're implying that there is someone involved in that.
Right.
But when you say gun violence, what you're assuming is that there's no human being even involved.
It was like when they tried to blame the SUV for running those people over a couple years ago.
Damn
there,
car.
Right? No, totally. It's
Cruise
just
control
cognitive dissonance. It's insanity. It's to the point where, like we say, people are so used to hearing these terms that they just, okay, that's what and you're, like you said, they visualize this stuff. Oh, gun violence. Ooh, somebody being shot by a gun.
Yeah.
Go to the other side of that. Who's the person holding the gun? That's the responsible party.
Well,
Let's deal with them.
I always say, if you can envision the word, when I say gun, gun, people have an envision of what that is. Like, to me, for some reason, I always envision a 1911 handgun. But you might envision a shotgun or an AR-15 or whatever. Everybody's got their own internal representation of a gun. All you have to do is say the word gun, and people can see it.
It's like saying dog.
Right, dog. Like, I might see a German Shepherd. You might see a pit bull, whatever it is. Or
Or a scrawny little dog.
Or Chihuahua.
a chihuahua.
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 Perfect.
Wow. But anyway, so we all know what a gun is. So all you have to do is say the word, and we all know what violence is too. It might look different to each of us what violence is, but we still haven't.
You're joining those together, though, right into one picture. That's very powerful persuasion. That's why they do it.
Yep. And they use it. They use it all the time. Every town and Giffords and Mom's Demand, and all their tweets, and practically every single tweet, the term gun violence is used in there. They're building their whole anti-gun empire on this term gun violence, and it doesn't even exist.
And now they've created the narrative that, again, like I said, you can just fix that thing, gun violence, by taking away. If you take away one of the words, if you took out violence, then nobody would care, right? And everything would be fine. You take out guns, it fixes the gun violence. Let's do that.
Well, I mean, and here's another thing, and I'll ask you guys what you think, but why don't they call it human violence? Like what
They
would
wouldn't
be
call it knife violence.
right? Because it sounds weird, doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
But they wouldn't use the term human violence because then they couldn't use the term to push for gun control laws.
See, it's all about the labeling again. The left has to label everything. It can't just be people being people. It has to be people being people because of this thing. So put this label on it. Then we can put all those people in that group over there and just make them bad in one fell swoop. It's a pretty good way to brainwash people. It's
Well,
great.
even the term, let's look at some of the other ones. Assault weapon. That assault is a verb, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
See the gun running after you.
911. My AR's chasing me.
It's on wheels, on roller skates.
He's angry.
but seriously, I mean, they literally took a verb and put it in front of gun, assault gun or assault weapon or assault rifle, whatever they want to use. You can't do that because a verb is an action word.
Absolutely.
Now you're trying to create action from an inanimate object, something that can't possibly act. Can't act. Right? But assault weapon is perfect because it gives the interpretation that the gun is acting on its own. It's assaulting. The gun is assaulting you. Right?
It's created to do that, right? That's why they make those, to assault people.
Right.
Even though 99.999% of them never assault anyone. Still, if you save one life and it's across state lines, we're all good to go.
What about ghost gun?
I don't even know how that works. Do you know?
Spooky.
You're from the hood. What's up with those guns?
Spooky.
It's just a gun that can't be traced.
Yeah.
It's just like getting rid of the serial number.
But you know what they did? They started the term ghost gun when 3D printing started. Now, nobody's printing. I don't know anybody who's printing guns.
You want to fire something out of a plastic? I don't think so.
Right, exactly.
You want to put a live round into a plastic gun and hope it doesn't blow your face off? I'm good.
I guess they're using steel barrels, but still that it doesn't look very. Anyway,
As hot as a round gets coming out the end, though,
I know.
we'll use it once. What? I mean,
Well, they started the term ghost gun because they wanted to. Well, they used the 3D printed guns as the culprit. So no, all these ghost guns, these 3D printed guns, we got to get them off the streets. But what they did, the legislation for so-called ghost guns covers any gun that doesn't have a serial number, like you're saying. So the idea there is to get everybody scared by using the term ghost gun and get everybody to support serialization. Now, this country, there was never serialization when guns, like the beginning of our country. Right. Nobody had serial numbers. It maybe some manufacturers had serial numbers, but it was just for their own use, right? And we know that our government's not trying to help the manufacturers. So ghost gun is to scare people into supporting serialization for all guns, which ultimately means that if any gun that changes hands has to have a serial number, and that serial number has to be documented. Well, what does that mean? If the serial number is documented, that means they're creating a registry. Ghost guns is really a tool to push forward toward the registry. But it works because people are scared. Ghost, oh my God. Right? Stupid Sally soccer mom, right? She doesn't know. She hears the word ghost gun and she thinks, oh, she doesn't know what it is.
it's invisible. Do you see it?
It's a ghost.
It's a ghost.
Only some people can see it.
My Casper 9mm.
Weapons of war. My Casper. What about weapons of war?
Yeah, that's just stupid.
Obama used to use this one a lot.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
He doesn't even know what a weapon of war is. Clown.
Clown.
It's a fully automatic gun. We don't have them here unless you modify it yourself.
But again, it's to scare Sally soccer mom in the cul-de-sac at the backyard
The
barbecue.
AR, they can, they say it's a weapon of war, but it's not. Looks like a weapon of war, but it doesn't shoot like a weapon of war. You still have to pull the trigger.
A lot of cars look like race cars too, but they ain't.
Right.
They're not race cars.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
all
so
visualization and
it's
stuff.
all
That's
right,
what they're
it is.
doing. That's the best way to persuade people, though, is make them see that picture in their head. And then
Only
they're-
small-brained rodents think it's true.
Well, again, it's obviously effective enough where it's affecting, on many issues, half the country, right? At least.
What were they calling high-capacity magazines?
It's always the label, right? It's always a scary label. Scary label gang.
So in New York, we had a limit. The law was limited to 7 rounds, right? Now it's back to 10. So does that mean that any 11 is a high capacity magazine? 11 rounds. That's high capacity as opposed to what?
If you add that extra round to your gun, then
Goes to 11.
it's not legal.
It's one shootier.
And isn't the actual statistic that if you're being assaulted and you have to shoot at somebody, it usually takes 5 rounds per assailant to finish the job?
It takes a lot.
Yeah. So why?
Especially if
Again,
they're popped
and then
up
when
on
they're
something.
limiting this stuff, they're only limiting the law-abiding citizens. They're not limiting the criminals.
I saw a video of a cop. I can't remember where he was. I sent you that video of that idiot. So, shopping center.
With the car that came by later on and hit the guy?
Yeah. So this
Did I
idiot
see
cop
it? Maybe I did see it.
tases a guy, didn't phase him, pulls him out, goes down, tries to get his gun out of his waistband, but it falls down his leg and comes out the bottom. Picks it up off the ground. The stupid cop's backing up away from him, running away, still having the taser, instead of pulling his gun out and shooting him. So then the backup cop comes and runs him down and runs him over.
Runs the bad guy over.
Runs the bad guy over and hits him. But if I was the guy in the cop car, I'd get out and say, "What are you doing? Why didn't you?" He
Yeah.
literally had a gun in his hand, and you're running away from him.
You know why? Because he probably would get
He's afraid-
arrested and go to
he's
jail.
afraid, and
Yeah.
that's the problem. Got us. The liberal cities, just cops need to walk away from them. Let them go. Let them go. If you can't do your job, let it go. Walk away. Just like New York
like
City. Just get out.
what are you going to do if you can't stop bad guys?
I'm
What's
sorry,
your
but if
job?
I'm a cop and someone's coming at me with a gun, I'm Swiss cheesing them. Do what you got to do.
Swiss cheese
But
and diesel.
The whole attitude of a cop is I'm going home at the end of the day. That used to be the way it was. Now you got to run away and hope he's not shooting you in the back.
It's a big chance.
hopefully you're
taking.
wearing your
Pulling
vest.
that trigger is a big deal.
Yeah, but they're all afraid to use their gun.
Yep.
But he ran him over with the car. He'll probably get sued for running him over with the car, and he'll win a big lawsuit.
At least it's not gun violence.
I'd like to see
But he
the
fumbled the gun hilariously. I mean, it literally fell down his pants, came out by his flip flop,
bad guy
and the cop's standing there.
because he didn't have
watching.
he didn't have a holster. What was his?
No, it
Could
was
have walked
just in
over
his
and kicked him in the
waistband.
teeth.
Oh,
at
my
that
And
point.
when he tried to pull his pants were loose, so he let the gun roll down his leg, and it comes out the bottom. He's fumbling it, and this cop idiot's walking away, running away from him. I'm like, dude, just turn your badge in and go home, you coward. I mean, he's lucky that guy didn't shoot him.
Wait a minute. Ready?
He's lucky he didn't
your
shoot
badge
him. He is so lucky that guy did not raise that gun and kill him.
Oh, he could have got killed easily.
But the guy was obviously on something, drunk maybe, and didn't have the, to get it together to shoot him. That guy didn't come. I'm telling you, that cop would have been dead because he would never have drawn his weapon.
Yeah,
Hit someone with a taser, and he didn't do anything. He just
no,
laughed at him.
it's terrible. Well,
Laughed at him.
it's because the cops are probably afraid to get in trouble.
That's their rule now. You got to use your taser first before you can use deadly force. That's where we're at in this country. Tasers don't work on everybody.
No, I've
It's
seen.
hard to aim.
I've seen a guy take
certain-
a taser twice with no shirt on and just rip him out and laugh.
Probably wouldn't affect you.
That's the guy.
Roll right through
But
it.
he was hopped up on PCP. You're not going to stop a guy. 5 rounds might not stop that guy.
Right.
But he's going to try to kill you.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you do need a lot of rounds
Yeah.
to take somebody down. They
Right,
keep
who
coming.
knows?
There's a lot of adrenaline. They just
Obviously,
keep
the whole
coming.
idea of being able, well, especially if you're a police officer, the whole idea of being able to counteract whatever force is coming towards you, you don't know what you're going to run into.
But running away from
no,
it?
you know.
No.
No, I'm just saying is that
Albany's
anybody
that way.
being attacked needs to be able to. If I got to shoot 15 times. Got to shoot 15 times. If he doesn't stop,
Yeah.
Let me get to our sponsor, and I want to talk more about because I know you had a term that you wanted to touch on. Let's talk about Cali Key. This device, the Cali Key, you can see it over my shoulder, removes your AR from the definition of a so-called assault weapon that we've been talking about. When they create these so-called assault weapon ban lists, they're created to exclude manually operated bolt-action firearms. So just by dropping this Cali Key into your direct impingement AR in place of your semi-automatic BCG, you'll have a bolt-action rifle that falls outside the definition of assault weapon. So you don't need to do anything else. So give the Cali Key a look because with it, you could retain all your rifle's features, avoid registration complications, revive your black rifle sales if you're an FFL, and regain the ability to do private party transfers, legally transport across hostile jurisdictions, hunt with your AR in areas like Pennsylvania, enhance long-range precision, and quieter suppressed shooting. Now, Cali Key, the company, has state-specific expert attorney opinions on its website and supports grassroots Second Amendment organizations with its sales. Cali Key's mission is to empower customers and claw back our civil liberties. So go to calikey.com and use the discount code LOADED. calikey.com, use the discount code LOADED. All right, so we're talking about terminology, and there's one that's happening that a new term that just popped up because of Biden's criminal invaders, Biden's border crisis. So, John, what was it?
newcomer,
Oh, that's right.
a common term, right?
Yeah.
Even though locally we have a funeral parlor called Newcomer. That's what I thought it was the first 2 or 3 times I heard it. I thought it was some ad for the funeral parlor. And then I realized that the newscasters were actually referring to What we called last week were illegal immigrants. Now they're called newcomers.
Well, we have a funeral home in the Albany area. Where is it? New Comer, right?
Yeah.
New Comer.
It's spelled the same way, though. It's right up on, it's in Latham on Route 2.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right from Danny's.
Yeah,
So
that's
they're
right.
turning them into nice people.
But anyway, but
New
when I-
newcomer.
Newcomers are nice.
I brought
pleasant
that up on
term.
a number of social media outlets, and I said I never saw this before used to define illegal immigrants, and now it's all over the news, and all the people are using the same term, and I was called a liar. You're lying. You didn't see that on TV.
You liar.
You made it up.
You're a
You're
newcomer.
just a troll.
You're a new. Well, it shows you that they're taking words that are nice and or whatever the goal is. They find a word that fits that goal
Right.
to achieve
But
that.
this is professionally done stuff.
Yeah.
These are people that are coming up with these. The same as when Robert Cialdini came up with Hillary calling people deplorables and stuff, calling Trump dark. All these words that conjure up these images in your head. You know what I mean? Those are professional people doing that.
Yeah.
They probably test them on focus groups and everything. Well, what makes you feel the worst? Let's find the word that makes you feel the worst or the best about something. And
Why don't we
use
call
that.
them Highlanders? Right?
I think they're
Because there can be only one.
Overlanders.
illegal criminal trespassers. They are.
But why keep changing the word? It's like changing global warming to climate change. You know what I mean? It's like because somebody.
Well, first it was
thinks-
global cooling, right?
Well,
then it was
yeah.
the ozone layer is going to deplete, and then it's global warming, and now it's climate change. They should have thought about climate change a long time ago. Then they wouldn't have all these
Oh my
changes.
God! I heard the funniest thing before we lose a thought. So Rachel Levine, right?
Yep.
Oh God!
The moron that runs the health whatever garbage for our military. The dude who thinks he's a girl. So he did a Black History Month video, and he's like virtual signaling with the Jamaican background. Right, and this black guy's narrating it, and he goes, "Black people are really horribly affected by climate change." I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, living in the inner city, the climate changes really affect their way of health and their way of life. What are you talking? Listen, just shut up. That doesn't even make any sense. So wait a minute.
They'll say-
climate change is only hurting the black people
Yeah.
because they live in the city? So us white folks in the suburbs,
We're good.
climate change. So listen,
You got a pool.
black people come to the suburbs. It's no climate change here. I mean, you got to be a real idiot to get
believe-
on TV and virtual
Well, you
signal
gotta
some
be
garbage like that.
You got to be an idiot to
Believe it.
to vote for a
Get out
president.
of the city, bro.
You got to be an idiot to vote for a president based on that. He's going to fix this problem that doesn't even
It's
exist.
just any way to.
But saying that it's only
Yeah.
climate change is affecting black people in inner city, you are a moron. How the hell did you get an admiral job? How? You don't even know what you are.
That's terrible.
I watched that video. I could not believe it. I'm like, wow, we have really gone off the deep end. Then our military, I guess, are like, they're trying to recruit people and they're telling that people they got to, deal with people's pronouns. Really?
That's why
Do you
recruitment's way
think
down.
do you think China cares that you go by the pronoun them? Hey, I'm a them. Don't hurt me. No.
Well, you're something. We don't know what it is.
Oh man, we are so lost.
But those kind of arguments are again. But
Who watches that video and believe that?
Well, nobody should believe it. They don't. Well, it's all about the victimization, though, right? It's just piling on the different ways we can be victimized. I had an argument with a person I know who's a red-haired white person, actually, spouting the same kind of stuff about all different things. And I said, your view is completely oppressor-victim. I'm not a victim. I'm just a realist. I says, yeah, but your real view sucks because nobody lives their life like that. Nobody's prospering in life by running around thinking they're a victim. Who? Did somebody that made this table think they were a victim? No, they got a job, worked, got paid taxes, did the whole thing. It's just so foreign to normal existence. This is what bothers me about so many of these terms and the other ways that people in the news, especially, is approaching things. It's like no one lives their life that way. Nobody thinks about those things. All the things they think that people like us think about every day. We get our daily newsletter from Trump, and he tells us how to think and what to say, who to oppress, and everything else. This fantasy world, but they believe it.
But if they push it in the narrative in the media enough, then they can change actual society.
That's how they turn people into Nazis. Just push it.
The NSSF, Firearm Industry Trade Association, hails the introduction of the Protecting Privacy in Purchases Act, introduced by our very own Elise Stefanik, Republican representative here in New York. It would ban the use of a firearm retailer specific merchant category code, MCC. So the legislation would protect the Second Amendment privacy of firearm and ammunition purchases from financial service and payment card providers compiling purchase history that has already proven to be exploited by the federal government for political purposes. So do you remember Discover Card was doing this for a while? They were noting what people are using to buy because with certain codes. Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network admitted to U.S. Senator Tim Scott, Republican from South Carolina, in a letter that it violated the Fourth Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens that protect against illegal search and seizure when it collected the credit card purchase history from bank. Can you believe that? So government is going to be able to look at your credit card bill and see what you're buying.
Oh,
Can we see what they're buying?
yeah. None of your business.
Yeah, none of your business.
And cookies and
Diapers and ice cream for stupid Joe. From individuals who purchase firearms and ammunition in the days surrounding January 6th. So again, January 6th
Lord.
Oh, here
brings
we
in
go.
new
Yeah,
thing.
all those weapons that showed up at the Capitol, right? Yeah, what were they buying? Good Lord.
But anyway, so it sounds to me like Elise Stefanik is. We talked about her the other day. Like, is she really doing a good job when it comes to Second Amendment? It looks like she is. I mean, she's
Hopefully.
We're really proud of her around here. I tell you that. So we'll see what happens with this legislation. But I just wanted to at least mention that. What else? What do we got? What else is happening?
We don't have any woke patrols or anything?
No woke patrol today.
Oh, my God.
No. But this guy.
Somebody
Dan's saving it
somebody
for
just
later.
said we do.
No, I don't think we have a woke patrol today. Oh, he's got a clip. Let's see if we can go to that clip. This is pretty funny.
Oh, I know what this is. Do we have no audio for this clip? Is that
Oh,
what the
okay, let me
problem
pull
was?
this one up. This one is pretty funny.
Anything
pretty
to do with,
stupid.
anything to do with the llama?
This is from Western Journal. Superintendent on a warpath after disturbing video of students licking others' toes goes viral. He says, we're cleaning up this filth. The head of Oklahoma schools was not amused by a video in which Deer Creek School District students were shown licking the toes of other people as part of a fundraiser on Thursday.
What? Like a kissing booth?
He said, this is disgusting. We're cleaning up this filth in Oklahoma schools. Our agency is investigating. State Superintendent Ryan Walters posted on X. Let's look at this ridiculous clip.
These are kids.
Yeah. Adults making kids lick their toes and suck their toes.
That's disgusting. Man, let me tell you something. They made my kid do that. No.
Why is right?
Why are you doing that?
It was a fundraiser. They thought it would be interesting to raise funds.
Feet are disgusting.
According to KOKH-TV, the videoed activity was part of the school's wonderful week of fundraising to support Not Your Average Joe Coffee, which hires people with intellectual development and physical disabilities.
So it sounds like teachers who have foot fetishes force
Little children.
mentally disabled children to suck their toes.
They can sit there and not only that,
What the hell is going on in this country?
watch them suck
If
other
that was
people's
my
toes.
kid, that teacher would be mentally handicapped when I got done
Oh,
with
my
her.
God.
Who videos that?
Are they using the little retarded kids to do
That's
this?
what it looked like. Oh, you said retarded.
I don't care.
I mean, that's what they said. That's so messed
Seriously, were they? I don't even know if they
I
were
don't
the
even know.
were they the
It said in
retarded
the
I
kids?
think
story,
we
didn't
should
it?
have-
Mentally,
we should
mentally
go on a road
mentally
trip and
developmental
investigate
kids.
this.
That's messed up.
Oh,
Oh, those teachers are going to hell for that. What'd you do today, Mikey? I licked my teacher's toes.
oh, jeez.
I wonder how that went over at home.
Wait till you hear this. One parent whose name was not given shared a reaction to learning from their daughter about the event, which the parent said involved peanut butter.
Like a Kong.
So this foot tastes like garbage, but here's some peanut. Here's some Jiffy.
Here's a quote. Whenever she told me yesterday that was happening, I had to ask her, "Wait, what? They're licking peanut butter off toes?" Anyway, there you go. All right, so we got to take a quick break. We got more hysterical stuff coming up for you. Stick around right after this.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR, empower yourself, and defend your civil rights.
Our founding fathers saw them coming over 200 years away. That's why they wrote the Second Amendment. Join us in the fight to preserve your gun rights and stop unconstitutional gun control. Gun Owners of America is the country's only no-compromise gun rights organization. Not only do we inform and educate, but we bring the fight to court and win. Your God-given right to keep and bear arms is our top priority. Become a member today and help us take back America. Join us at gunowners.org. Yeah. All right, so we're back. I wanted to. There's this guy named Schweitzer who he's killing it on conservative news channels. This is an article by Breitbart. Biden won't hold China to account because of financial entanglements. So on this week's broadcast of the Fox News Channel Sunday Morning Futures, Government Accountability Institute president and Breitbart News senior contributor Peter Schweitzer discussed his new book, Blood Money, stated that President Joe Biden will not hold China responsible for the fentanyl crisis in America because of his family's financial entanglements. Schweitzer said, yeah, I think absolutely they do. You have these financial connections, as you've talked about, and I've talked about, with more than $30 million from China going directly to the Biden family. It also now includes an element of Chinese organized crime. And he says he thinks it's the reason that Joe Biden's not talking about fentanyl in the context of China's involvement. Specifically, there's a Chinese gang called UBG that's widely credited with setting up the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico and making them the kings of fentanyl. He added the leader of the gang, a guy named Chang An Lo, who goes by the name White Wolf. It was White Wolf's business with a partner who wired a $5 million interest-free forgivable loan to the Biden family. And it was specifically designated not just for Hunter, for the family. So does Joe Biden want to have a conversation about these tough issues? Does he want to hold China to account? Absolutely not. And he says he's convinced it's because of these financial entanglements. So what do you think?
And he's still president?
Yeah.
Imagine if that was Trump.
I think hopefully we can do something about it and something happens. That's the hard part. I mean,
That man will never spend a day in prison.
people ignore lots of stuff, I'm sure we all do, but that's just crazy.
We got to get the dirtbags out of office, and I'm just worried that they're gonna cheat again,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're definitely going to cheat.
because it looks like Trump is doing really good so far in early polls against Biden, and Biden is absolutely pathetic.
They're stuck. They got to cheat.
They got to cheat. Well, they had to cheat last time.
But are we going to let them?
Well, that's the question I have. You know, what's going on at the GOP? You know,
They're weak.
the committee,
They're weak.
the national committee. What are they doing? Are they watching for? Do they have measures in place to prevent Democrats from cheating?
Didn't the head of the RNC just leave last week?
She's gone. Yeah. So the new guy that's coming in, I can't remember his name right offhand, but
Vivek?
no, it's not. I forget who it is, but like, what are they doing? Are they going to all the major polls? Are they going to have people there? Are we still going to be able to do these drop boxes? The drop boxes are insane.
I think the mail-in ballots need to stop.
Yeah, unless you got a special.
Yeah, unless you're in a nursing home or
Right.
something like that.
The way you used to have to apply for them. You used to have to apply to get an absentee
Now
ballot, right? They
now they just mail
send
10 of them to you.
Yeah. Well, you said they mailed
I
like
got
7
6 last year.
6. I got 6.
Oh, there we go. It's crazy. You mean to tell me that if I had filled out all 6 of those and sent them all in, that for some reason that would all got caught and nothing wrong would have happened? Multiply that by millions? Who knows? It's crazy. It's not.
Yep, mail-in ballots got to stop unless it's a special thing and show up on an ID. Old school. We've done it for 10 decades. Now all of a sudden it's different.
Yep. It's crazy. Changing the rules at the last minute. Well, COVID messed everything up. We know that. But this is not that.
No,
So
well-
now's the time to get our stuff together so that we can at least fight back against this
There's
stuff.
still ti-
Actively fight back.
There's
right?
still time to release something.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah, something's like what's going to happen? Something's going to happen.
They got a new one out, Disease X. I've been talking about that.
Well, I hope there's no major war incidents that occur right before the election, because anything could happen with the way it's set up right now, with the stuff going on with Ukraine. You got, who knows what China is willing and able to do with all the infiltration of Chinese military-aged people. You don't know. There could be a series of attacks that they set up to keep Joe Biden in office, so he has to declare a martial law or something, hold off on the election. Who knows what they could do? I don't know. I mean, but it is scary, and I hope that the national GOP committee has everything under control.
They need a policy, right? They need a forward-moving policy that's going to go around the country. And
Well, the committee is pretty much responsible for the election process. So if they're doing their job, they'll have strategies in place to prevent the Democrats from cheating. We'll see. I wish we knew. But I do want to talk about our brand new sponsor. Very proud of this sponsor. So you want to know who's fighting for your gun rights? Gun Owners of America. Now, GOA is the no compromise gun rights group. I urge you to become a member at gunowners.com and gunowners.org. What have they done? Well, I'll tell you. GOA has secured a preliminary injunction against the ATF pistol brace rule. GOA members submitted a record 85,000 plus comments opposing the ATF's universal registration check rule. They helped enact permitless carry in Nebraska and Florida. GOA secured victories in California, Illinois, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Plus, they won 2 legal victories against the ATF's zero tolerance policy. We talked about zero tolerance policy before. And GOA fought to overturn Joe Biden's ban on funding hunter education, shooting sports, and archery in schools. So with the constant attack on our Second Amendment, we often ask ourselves, what can I do about it? Well, this is what you can do. Become a member at gunowners.org and help us save the Second Amendment. So we're always proud to have gun owners, but we talked about the zero tolerance policy. Any little piece of paperwork that went wrong, the FFL could lose their license, and just all sorts of nonsense.
it is nonsense.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy.
Anything to stop gun violence.
Yeah, exactly. Some good news, though, in the gun world. by Duncan Johnson at AmmoLand. He writes an article called Iowa House Passes Student First Safety Act. The Iowa Firearms Coalition, IFC, is pleased the Iowa House of Representatives has overwhelmingly voted to pass the Students First Safety Act, HF 2586, the bill which allows for specially trained armed staff to carry firearms on school grounds. It passed recently with 61 legislators voting in support of the pro-school safety legislation. The governor, let me see who this is. It says, there's a quote here, allowing for those who love their children enough to protect them is a win for school safety and all of Iowa's students, said IFC President Dave Funk. IFC is grateful to have partnered with lawmakers on moving this bill of critical importance forward, and we look forward to working with the Senate and Governor Kim Reynolds to make it law. So while state and federal law currently allows for Iowa school districts to arm school staff, in practice, insurance companies have denied coverage to districts that have attempted to do this. So now, you get, the Democrats are getting insurance companies involved. So while two school districts in northwest Iowa had worked to implement armed staff in 23, but canceled plans once Des Moines-based EMC Insurance notified the districts that their insurance policies would not be renewed if their plans went into effect. So under this legislation, school staff and school districts that comply with the training requirements will receive qualified immunity from civil or criminal damages should they need to stop a threat. This language is designed to allow school districts who protect their students the ability to maintain insurance coverage. Follow?
Yep.
So somebody's doing something, because we know Joe Biden's, gun-free school zone has been a disaster.
Especially for the kids in the schools.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we talked about that many times. The killing that happens in schools goes up ever since the stupid law. Because not only do they ban staff and parents and people from having guns on campus, they demonize it so it's taboo now.
Right.
So even the school districts don't even want to have armed staff. We did this in Saratoga Springs, New York. We fought against this. In Saratoga Springs, they had 2 armed security guards. And there was never any issues. Everything was totally fine. There was never any school killings or anything, nothing. But the latest liberal board of school board members decided we're going to get rid of the armed security and make it a completely gun-free zone. And why? Why do you need to do that? What benefit is that going to be?
It won't be any benefit. If something happens, it'll be a real negative. That's crazy. Why would they do that?
Because they're liberals. They're liberals. They're liberals, and they will do anything to support the narrative.
See, they think even an armed security guard with a gun is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. They did. We had to fight. We had to go to the meetings, and we had to fight. Even the insurance guy, who I happen to know him, that when they saw when I started speaking at one of these school board meetings, he was like, "Hi, Dan." He wasn't real happy to see me. I'm like, "What are you guys doing? This is crazy. There's no reason to take the armed security out just because this is a crazy policy. What you're doing is you're opening up, you're inviting."
Right.
Go ahead. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I agree. How about you?
I think they get off on kids being murdered, obviously, because only sick individuals would take the security away from the school. And where the hell are the parents? Where are the parents?
There were, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about Saratoga? There were parents that wanted the security to stay, and then there were parents fighting against it.
So what happened eventually?
They ended up getting outvoted. One of the school board members, I forget her name, I wrote an article on it in AmmoLand. She was a Black Lives Matter supporter.
Of course.
So
she's a moron,
school board
too.
members.
They don't want black school children to be protected by armed guards?
No, apparently it was okay for Black Lives Matter to come into Saratoga Springs and raise hell
Right.
and stop traffic and be fools. But when it comes to protecting the kids, well, she didn't think that was necessary.
How the hell did she get on the board?
Because good people like us don't follow through.
Right. And school board elections are drastically small turnouts compared to anything else, right? She could have
Right.
won by 2 votes for all we
A lot of times they're just happy somebody's willing to take the job.
Right, exactly. They're not paid positions, I assume, right? School board members?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because
But they're making decisions for children.
Yep.
And they don't know, they don't have any background. I'm a Black Lives Matter activist. I know everything.
Hopefully their parents.
it's because good people don't get involved. That's our problem. And now, luckily, we've got more people this past couple years have been saying, okay, we got to do something different because this isn't working. So they're, good people are starting to join these boards, get on these boards, which is good. I'm not sure how much time we got. I keep losing my earpiece, so let me just see what's going on.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
We got 15? Okay. Well, I want to get to one more article here. Trump celebrates as he gets a major win from the Supreme Court. The hits keep coming for our bitter, corrupt, and desperate establishment. This is an article by Western Journal. On Wednesday, one day after former President Trump rolled to another resounding victory by trouncing former South Carolina governor and establishing darling Nikki Haley in the Michigan Republican presidency primary, the Supreme Court announced that it would hear arguments on Trump's claim of presidential immunity from criminal prosecution, according to NBC. Trump applauded the Supreme Court's decision in a 2-part post on social media platform Truth Social. Legal scholars are extremely thankful for the Supreme Court's decision today to take up presidential immunity. Trump's post began. Perhaps the former president gave the legal profession too much credit. After all, many of those scholars and so-called experts have beclowned themselves in recent years by exhibiting Trump derangement syndrome. One suspects, in fact, that most would prefer a swift Trump conviction to any clarity SCOTUS might provide in advance. So whatever the case might be, the former president made a strong argument for immunity. And as we know, we just got the results, and they said he can be on the ballot, which was the other thing
Right.
everyone was concerned with. So he's winning. So
People are going to be flipping out. They're going to blame, anything the Supreme Court does, they're going to say, no, all because of Trump's appointments and because of Mitch McConnell not letting the thing go through last time around, the end of Trump's term, blah, 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 blah. They're going to blame everybody. They're never going to change their mind about anything, but we got to keep fighting it. We got to keep after it.
Nikki Haley, didn't she just have one win? DC, right?
Which is,
course.
the biggest garbage can in all of the United States.
So she's got one win in D.C. Trump is just killing her everywhere else.
But only, like they said, only 1,900 people voted. So it's not really a win, is it? The district is full of dirtbags. Have you ever been on the outskirts of D.C.?
Yes.
It's a dump. It's literally a ghetto dump.
Peeing in the bushes and stuff.
It's just nasty. And those people don't give it. They don't care.
Yeah.
There's like 19 votes. Oh, big deal. You won 1,900. Ooh. Don't hurt yourself
Poor
there.
Nikki.
I guess, why is she staying in?
I don't know.
That's the question. Why is she?
Because she has money. She's getting money. She has money left over. That's why. Otherwise, she wouldn't stay in. If she had to pay for it herself, she wouldn't stay in. She's just spending her money.
Yeah, but isn't she hurting her career?
Good question. Let's call her.
She's still the governor?
Get her on the show.
No. But you'd think that she would say, okay, enough's enough. I'm ruining my career here. Let me just back out and support.
I don't think she can always go and get a job someplace now. You know what I mean? If she's not worried about politics, she can go work for a company somewhere and make millions of dollars. And she's not worried about it.
She'll probably have her own show on
write a
CNN.
book.
She'll have her own show on CNN.
Yep.
But she's not a conservative at all.
I know.
You can tell where she's going, with the way she talks and the things she says. She's definitely
She
not.
lies. She doesn't even tell the truth. She lies every time she opens her mouth. And it's always a different story.
I haven't
this-
been
this-
watching her, so I
Oh,
don't
she
really
lies
know.
all the time. She's terrible. And people
People
don't
believe
get it.
anything that.
Well, Democrats are voting for her too. We have to remember
that's the
that.
thing, right?
That's what DC is.
Yeah. So Democrats are voting for her so they can think they're going to get her to beat Trump in the primary.
She ain't got a chance. She might as well just walk away.
Are they going to vote for her in the general election against Biden?
No,
Maybe
so
that's
that
the plan.
see that's the plan.
She could switch parties at the last minute and run.
Well, make her look good, but Democrats voting for her in the primary, and then when it comes to the general, nobody votes for her. Democrats or Republicans won't be voting for her, so she'll lose to Biden. So that's this whole strategy. Because how's she gonna? The only thing that's even keeping her going with a few votes is Democrat votes.
right.
So what happens in the general? Those votes aren't going to be there.
She's just hanging around to see what happens. I think she thinks if something happens to Trump,
Yeah.
she's going to be the one to step up. Which I don't think anybody's going to. No, the RNC is not going to accept that. I don't think. Would they? Why would they let her?
I don't know. I don't know what would happen there.
She's almost as bad as Kamala Mala.
Well, at least she can speak in complete sentences.
Yeah, but she lies through her teeth.
Yeah.
Kamala just can't.
What was
Put words
Kamala
together.
just coming out talking about?
She can't even. She
She's
doesn't even make any
ridiculous.
sense. It's like she's high on something.
She's ridiculous.
She doesn't even make any sense at all. When you listen to her talk, your brain hurts.
She's a fool.
Something wrong with
She's
her.
not. She's just not very smart.
I just want to say that when the bus goes around, the wheels spin, and then when they spin the wheels spin on the bus. That's how she talks.
I know.
And you're like, what the hell are you talking
gun
about?
violence, guns. Take away the
Gun,
guns.
take
There's
the
no
violence
gun
away,
violence.
but then put the gun in the hand, the hand in the gun, and the gun in the hand. If two fish in a pod, it's like, what are you talking about, lady?
You love her.
She is a lunatic. All right, we got to wrap it up. Thanks for watching Loaded Mike on Rumble. You can also find us on OpsLens and Right America Media and Simul TV and the Key Radio Network. You can also find the podcast on Spotify and all the different podcast platforms. Anywhere you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us. I'm Dan Was. The Second Amendment is not a privilege. It's your right.